Coach, was that Akron win? Is that the biggest win you guys have had since you've been here?
It is the biggest win. I don't know that it's the best that we played, but that's Akron's a top 150 RPI type team, and to beat them on the road is a really good win for our program. Monica alluded to the fact that we didn't play a complete game, and that's something that we got to get fixed before we play Horizon League games. But to beat Akron on the road is a significant win for us.
And if you beat them and you didn't play your best basketball, I mean, that's got to say even more about what you guys are accomplishing this year.
It is, and I think it says a lot to what we have, the work we have to do before we start Horizon League play, and it's pretty significant.
What's significant, Coach? What are the few things?
Well, we got to be able to play basketball without turning it over as much as we do. From a statistical standpoint, that's the one thing that really jumps out at you and says, "Well, you got to do this better." And I think defensively, we're getting better every game. It didn't show statistically against Akron. We gave up a ton of points. And there were some breakdowns that we need to get cleaned up. We'll see some of those same type of screening action in league play that we've got to get figured out soon.
Has it been tough with 2 games and between 9-day spans between your last 2 games, this one, and is that challenge just getting people ready and legs ready for games like that with that much time off?
Yeah, I think it is. It's so atypical. Everything we do is prepare, play, prepare, play, prepare, play. Then all of a sudden you got 8 days and you're trying to figure out what to do. We threw in some new things in practice, and you're trying not to kill the kids. But at the same time, you got to keep, you're dealing with athletes that are trained to play every 2 or 3 days. So you gotta feed that need to compete and play. So it's a very difficult time for me as a coach to try to figure out what the heck we're supposed to be doing in practice.
What have you been doing just to feed that need, as you say?
Well, we scrimmaged a little bit. We implemented some new stuff. Nothing that we used at Akron, some things that we'll use against Cleveland State and as we get into Horizon League play. But just to give us a few new wrinkles, something else to go to when we get bogged down offensively and defensively. So I think we've used the time wisely. And then we're always trying to develop players and skill. So we continue to do that as well.
Confidence, momentum, I mean, is it building, just with the last couple games and this team really starting to come on?
Yeah, I think winning gives you confidence in what you're doing. We try to attack each game individually and not get caught up in a whole lot of streaks or any of this kind of stuff. But, I think realizing that your hard work is paying off does something for you. I don't know how much it does for you, but it certainly does something to know that your work's not being done in vain, and you're out there running around trying to do what coach says, but coach is always wrong, and you're losing. You stop doing what coach says. So, hopefully the winning helps.
Talk about Stony Brook, a kind of a tough trip, around the holidays, but talk about them and what they're going to bring to the table.
It is. They've got a new coach who's going through some pains that the new coach goes through with the new team, trying to figure out their identity, trying to figure out what players should be shooting and which players should not be shooting. They run some interesting stuff. They run a couple of actions that we haven't seen yet, which is good, and that's something that we've talked about in all these press conferences, is about seeing different action, which is good for our team to play against different things and different movement. And this will be good to kind of add to us for a learning experience as we head into January.
Are there parallels to Stony Brook and maybe what you guys were, last year? Can you see that and just maybe give you a better perspective on what you've been able to accomplish so far?
I think so. I mean, you can just tell that they're working hard. They're just not always real effective. And I don't think it's a lack of effort or a lack of coaching. I think it's just when you're bringing, we're used to bringing in 2 or 3 new kids a year with a recruiting class. And when you have a new coach, you essentially have 12 to 15 new kids. And as a coach, you've got a lot of evaluating to try to get done and try to figure out who should be playing where and how much each player should be playing and things of that sort. So there's a lot on the table for that staff to try to get worked out. And, they're playing better. They're playing good defense. They're guarding really well. So it's, they've kind of found their identity a little bit in that regard. But, they're going to guard you and keep the game low scoring. And I think they'll continue to get better as the season goes on and as their career there goes on.
New Year's Eve at home against Cleveland State. That's another challenge similar to Akron and to some of these MAC schools. The tough stretch.
Yeah. I mean, they're good. They run a unique offense. You don't see, you're going to see that twice a year when you play Cleveland State. It's the only people that run the 5-out like they run it. They're very good at it. They move very well. It's a big game. And the way our conference schedule is set up, we play them first and we play them last. So you play them now and then you don't see them again until the end of the year. and you finish with 3 on the road at the end of the year, it makes winning this first one at home very significant for you.
You've talked about barometer games, games kind of telling you where you've been at.
Mm-hmm.
Is this one of those, as big of those as maybe you've had all year, just because they're in the conference and they're one of the top teams?
Yeah, I mean their team is picked to finish second or third in the conference, so it'll be nice to see all this non-conference stuff will be done with, and it'll get down to the real thing, and that'll be exciting to see where we are and what we need to fix, what we need to get better at, but hopefully we're ready to compete at that level.
Yeah, you're starting to get contributions from, Brandy was kind of the main focal point offensively. Now getting big games from different people. How has that helped the development of the team?
Oh, it's helped immensely, and that's what a team needs to be. There's been very few teams that have been successful with one person scoring a majority of their points. Almost every good team in any sport has a multitude of weapons, and we're starting to develop some, and we need to continue to do that if we're going to be one of the top teams in the conference.